Well, hello there. It's nice to meet you too. Yes. I don't think I've seen you in here before. Oh, well, welcome to the clinic. How can I help you today? Alright, so just a checkup and a little bit of problem with one of your new canines. I see. Alright, well, let me just take your name and date of death if you don't mind. Yes. Alright, here you are. Oh, so you are a newly made vampire. How's the afterlife treating you? Sunburn, you say? Well, you would never know. You seem to have healed up pretty nicely. Don't worry. It happens to the best of us, trust me. You're not the first case of sunburn I've seen come through these doors, so don't worry, your secret's safe with me. So, this will be your first checkup today. Alright, and you say you've got a little bit of problem with one of your canines. Alright, well, as you know, newly made vampires, well, they're not used to the fangs coming through and growing, and some of us have terrible growing pains. I remember when I was first made, I mean, this was many hundreds of years ago now, more than I care to admit, but I remember my teeth took a very long time to get used to, and oh my goodness, the pain. Same for you. And there's no amount of paracetamol, aspirin infused blood that you can take. Nothing works, does it? There's just no painkiller. It seems bizarre that vampires don't generally feel pain, but when their canines come through, oh, my lord, the pain is unbearable, right? I sympathize with you. Alright, well, it's good that you've come to see me so soon after your make date. A lot of vampires don't come to see me until it is quite too late. I see a whole entry of problems with vampires who leave it 100 years, 200 years, 500 years until their first checkup. And by then the damage is done. So the fact that you are coming to me so soon after being made a vampire just shows how sensible you are. But yes, of course, you're here for your poorly tooth, but we'll do a checkup as well. So, let me just get on some gloves and a mask, and I'll take a look inside your mouth. Yes, get comfortable. This may take a little bit of time, seeing as it's your first appointment, so I will be very, very thorough. We don't want to miss anything, do we? And vampires don't generally need to see the dentist as often as a human. Let me guess, you used to go roughly once every year to the dentist? Once every 6 months. Okay. Do go to the hygienist? Alright. Well, it's a little bit different for us. You normally see the dentist every 200 years, and if you're this way inclined, not a lot of vampires are, but you go to see the hygienist every 100 years. That's just for a routine file, clean, de-scraping of blood plaque. But a lot of vampires are lazy and not very hygiene conscious, unfortunately. They think because they are immortal, such drear and mundane things such as hygiene, dental hygiene, is not applicable to them. So they leave it. And then they come to me 300-400 years' time. Oh, my tooth, because they've let the blood ferment there. Most of these vampires don't even brush their fangs. Ugh. And it's just dreadful. So I highly encourage you to remain vigilant, as you have been, and very sensible. And make sure you come to see me regularly. Alright. So let me pop on my mask. I had a rather potent O positive for lunch today, and I don't want to offend you. Well, it was distilled with garlic. Oh yes, garlic distilled through human blood is perfectly safe for us vampires, especially if you're someone like me who is a bit of a garlic obsessive. That's one thing I miss about being a human, is being able to eat garlic. I used to love garlic. When I was a human, I used to eat it all the time. I never could quite get enough of it. And when I was unfortunately forced to be a vampire back in those days, you didn't have a choice like you do today. But when I was forced to be a vampire, I just missed garlic so much. But luckily, my friend Amelia at the Blood Lab. Oh, you know Amelia? Oh, you work with her? Oh, well, congratulations. Well, as you probably know, Amelia has come up with an idea and a new method of distilling human blood with various different flavours. So, for instance, I know I'm babbling on, but the new garlic infused blood, basically you force feed your human that you have, or the one that you're sharing with someone like me. I'm sharing mine with another garlic obsessive. You force feed them the food of your choice, and then after a while that flavour starts to run all the way through their blood and spice it, I would say. Now, some people like me like garlic, others want coffee, all the human vices that we used to love and enjoy as humans. And some people even want candy floss, or, Jolly Ranchers or something like that. I don't know. I've never had candy floss. Candy floss was invented a few years after I was made into a vampire. I mean, I never had such delicacies when I was a human, so I wouldn't know, but maybe one day I'll try it. So anyway, my preference is O positive, spiked with garlic. You should definitely try it sometime, but I'm going to put this mask on just in case I offend you, because garlic isn't for everyone. So let's put this on. Oh, before I get started, do you have your work policy number? You said you worked at the blood bank, right? Have they provided you with a dental, a healthcare number that you can use for your dental checkups? Because you get them for free. Oh yeah, take your time. I'll just put it into my system here, so when you come and see us next, then it's all on file. Yep, I'm ready. Yep. Uh-huh. Alright. Okay. Perfect. So that's all in the system for you. So from here on you won't have to pay for your treatment. Unless... let me just have a look at that policy number. I don't think it covers accidental, accident and emergency. I think it's just checkups. We can double check that. Alright, let me have a look inside your mouth. Alright. If you can just open up your mouth and say ah. Alright. Let me see here. So which tooth is it? Is it this canine here? Might I remind you that biting humans is strictly forbidden and is punishable by the law. Now, no, don't give me excuses. I have been doing this job a long time, and I know a blood bite when I see it. What were you thinking? Don't give me that. You work at a blood bank. You've got plenty of blood around. Okay, I know your animal instincts, blah blah blah. That's what everybody says, but you can't go around biting humans. I need to report this. I'm legally obliged to report it to the authorities. But seeing as you are in a unique position at the blood bank, I'm sure we can come to some arrangement if you catch my drift. Now, let me level with you. This isn't the first blood bite that I've seen, and a lot of vampires pay me to look the other way in these circumstances. If I shopped in and reported every vampire that had a blood bite and cracked their fang on a human, then I would have no clients left. So they pay me to look the other way. And I'm sure that me and you can come to some arrangement. How about this? Every week you package up a case of let's call it O positive. O positive spiked with garlic, and have it delivered to the office. How does that sound? Are we in agreement? And this never happened. Shake on it? Alright. And should your package not arrive every week for the foreseeable future, of course, I would be obliged to report you. So just make sure that arrives on time. No pressure. Anyway, back to your checkup. So apart from the obvious chipped canine, let's have a look at the back molars here. Okay, so it looks like your molars have moved somewhat, but that's perfectly normal. You just have to make room for the fangs. So everything kind of shifts around a little bit. Okay, alright. You have a little bit of staining here. Let me just try and scrape that off. Let's see. Let's scrape some of this plaque. I think it's left over from when you were a human. You didn't used to brush too well at the back? Yeah, It's quite difficult, isn't it? Let's just change my instrument here. I get more of a hook, kind of scrapey motion. I'm just going to do the best I can in these back molars here. Yeah, just keep opening up nice and wide for me. Very good, you're doing very good. I'll try not to be here too long, but we might as well do it now when we've got the time. Okay, good. Just check these front ones here. These bottom ones. Alright. Getting those ones there. At the front. You're doing very well. Good. Alright. At the top. Right. Alright. Good. Now on this side. Okay. Get right over the back. Okay. Good. Good. You're doing very well. Scrape some of this at the back there. Okay. Good. Yeah. You're doing very well. Good. Let me have a look at this chipped tooth here. Okay. Alright. Okay. Does it hurt when I poke it? Okay, I understand. Right. So, your overall health of your mouth is actually pretty good. It doesn't seem that you've got too much built up plaque from when you were a human, which is good. You're brushing regularly, which is also really good. So the only two problems are the crowding at the back of your mouth to accommodate for your new fangs, but that's perfectly normal, and actually a lot of vampires have that problem. So normally I've found that we just leave it and it doesn't really prove to be a problem. If you do get pain at the back there, or you find you can't brush properly, then we can look at removing some teeth to make some space, but normally we don't need to do that. And the number one problem is your chipped fang. Now, we can do two things for you today. Number one is to do a temporary fix because the tooth hasn't actually fractured away from itself. It's actually like intact at the moment. We can do a temporary bond whereby we affix a special poly resin around the tooth, and that will keep it in place and stop it from splitting for about 2 weeks. Now, after that 2 weeks, even though I highly credit my work and I've done this many times, it still doesn't help that the tooth will eventually crack and fall off. It doesn't matter how many times you bond it. So we can do that as a temporary fix, but I would suggest that you get a veneer fitted right away. Now, we can't do that right now. We have to make an impression of your whole mouth, and we might as well do the whole mouth while we're here. Kill two birds with one stone. I'll make an impression of your fang. Then I will send that off to the lab to have your custom made veneer. Now that will be an identical replica to the fang that is broken, so it will fit and look perfect. So how does that sound? Well, I think it's the best option really. If you walk around with a broken fang, not only will you get stared at, you'll also be putting yourself at risk to be apprehended by the vampire police. A broken, chipped tooth is a dead giveaway of someone who has been biting humans, so you don't want that. Now, we do have a couple of different options for the material of the new tooth. We have a metal alloy, which is fairly obvious that you've broken a tooth. It's not very attractive, fairly cheap, but a lot of... you don't really want that. We have gold, which again, fairly obvious you've broken a tooth. Not so cheap, but a lot of gangsters have it, and you're not a gangster, are you? And the last one we have is a porcelain, pretty much the same as your teeth. Within a little, as best as we can get it, and that is perfectly seamless, very natural looking. You can swap it for different colours should you decide to whiten your teeth, as some vampires do, but we'll get on to that in a minute. So those are your options, porcelain being the most expensive for obvious reasons. Well, I think that's a good choice, and considering we have an arrangement, I can do this for you fairly cheaply, but if you're struggling with the funds, then we can do a payment plan for you, which you can talk to the receptionist about on your way out. You want to go ahead with that? Alright. So what I'll have to do is, you just sit by yourself for a minute there, and I will prepare the mould and to take the impressions of your top and your bottom teeth. Have you ever had braces when you were a human or teeth whitening? So it's pretty much a similar process. I just make an impression and send those off to the lab. Trays, same as when you were a human. And the catalyst and the base. So I'm going to start mixing this up. Yes, there's a magazine there if you feel the need. This might take a little while. What toothbrush are you using out of curiosity? Okay, a human one. An electric or manual? Well, the electric toothbrushes for humans are okay. You can use them in a pinch, but I would really recommend using one of our special vampire toothbrushes, which are made out of Sasquatch fur. Now, why Sasquatch fur, you ask? Well, not only does it have properties which are mythical in their origins, but it's also very durable as well. It's very coarse and tough and perfect for those, blood plaque that may start to build up. Blood plaque is notoriously difficult to get off, but the Sasquatch fur, or the bristles I should say, Sasquatch bristle toothbrush is rated by the Vampire Dental Association, and we sell them here at the clinic. They're developing the Sasquatch fur electric toothbrush heads, but a lot of vampires are very old school and they prefer the manual. So I would highly recommend you getting one, as it's much more effective than human toothbrushes. And they're relatively inexpensive and they last 50 plus years, maybe even more. Alright, so if you open up, say, I'll go there, and let me just hold it in place for you there. Alright, okay. And bite down for me. Good, excellent. Okay, I'll start mixing up the other one. That's a bit weird, I'm sorry. It'll take about a minute to set properly and I can take it out. Okay. Alright, let's have a look and see how that's doing. Let me just, I'm just going to wiggle it out for you there. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay, that's a really good impression. Alright, now the other one. Again, open up and say, this is for your bottom teeth here. Good. And bite down, not too hard, not too hard. Okay, good. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'll put those there. those away for you. Impression needed for new veneer. Alright, let's take that other one out from the bottom. Good. Alright, excellent. Yep, you can rinse with some water, that's fine. And bottom. Okay. Okay, good. Alright, so I think now we will do the restructuring and the filling of your cracked tooth here. Yes, I will have to give you a shot just to numb the area. It can get a little bit painful. So, we don't actually use Novocaine here because obviously that's a human numbing agent. We actually use something called Draculcaine. Cheesy, I know, I don't come up with the names, but essentially it is exactly the same as Novocaine, but with vampire-friendly ingredients. So let me just get some in this syringe here. We only need half a syringe. Okay. So let's just put that little bee sting top. A few places. Okay. Great. And we're going to just let that work its magic just for a few seconds, and I'll make sure that you can't feel a thing, I promise. Alright, so can you feel this? 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 Or this? Oh, perfect. So, just need to mix up some of the paste here. Well, other services that we offer here are teeth whitening, like I mentioned, and we can achieve high levels of white shades, much whiter than any teeth whitening you've ever had as a human. We can get dazzling shades of whiteness that actually can be used to, well, draw in humans. It's mostly used by blood hunters to ensnare humans and obviously ship them off to the blood bank. Sometimes everyday vampires, like layman vampires, would have this teeth whitening to give them that rock star appearance. They just want to look like their favourite blood hunters, as you know how much of celebrities they are. I have many, many blood hunters in here, and my goodness, the egos. I can't deal with it. But they like to have brilliant white teeth, as they can hypnotize their prey and dazzle them with the whiteness. It doesn't always work, though, I must tell you. So yes, if you were interested in that, but of course you cannot have any other further procedures until we have properly fixed your veneer and your cracked tooth. So let me get a bit of this on here. Okay, just a tiny amount. I'm going to start filling this in as best as I can. Just let me know if it hurts a little bit. Okay, you're doing really well. Okay. Okay, good. It's not a very long procedure. But I have to be very, very careful. Okay, I think just a little bit more. Okay, good. I think. Alright, just keep your mouth open just for a little while that sets. I know it's quite uncomfortable. Okay. Okay. Take a look just a little bit closer here. Okay. Yep. Alright. Very good. Very good. Okay, you can relax now. Well done. Now, word of warning. Like I say, this is only a temporary fix. Don't go around biting anyone again. Don't drink anything hot for 24 hours. Make sure that you don't poke it or touch it or interfere with it. Don't bite down on anything. I don't know what you would, but just leave it alone. Don't fiddle with it with your tongue. It's going to be very delicate and sensitive for the first 24 hours. After that, just use your common sense. Don't go around fiddling with it or anything like that. You'll need to come back in 2 weeks once your veneer has been made and I can apply it. Now, I will actually book you in now. Let me see what I've got actually. So 2 weeks from today is 1, 2. Alright. How does the 17th suit you? Same time? Alright. I'll put your molds on a rush so we can get that veneer in as soon as possible. Alright. Well, that's you done for now, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Alright, see you then. Ah, hello. It's good to see you again. Yep, take a seat, make yourself comfortable. I have your custom-made veneer all ready to go. So, are you ready? We'll jump right into it. Let me get on some gloves. How's that tooth doing? Did it hold up okay? Let me have a look. Alright. Well, it's fairly redundant now because we're going to have to actually shave it right down. But I'm glad that it served its purpose for the 2 weeks. Did you get any suspicious looks? Alright, that's good. And thank you very much for my box of supplies. Yes, they arrived the first week and the second week, so thank you very much. I'm glad we could come to that arrangement. Okay. So, like before, I'm going to give you a shot of Draculcane. We're going to be needing a little bit more this time because we are doing quite a long procedure. So let me just measure out a whole syringe here. Okay, good. So just open your mouth and say ah, and I'll give you this quickly into your gums. Alright. Good. Good. Alright, wonderful. And I'll be putting on my mask today. Not that I've had any O positive today. I've been saving that very special case that you sent, but as you know, well, I will be filing down your tooth today, and it's very, very dangerous for vampires to ingest organic matter from another one of our kind. Unless you're obviously trying to be more feral or bestial, but maybe I shouldn't mention that, especially after the incident. So, can you feel this? Can you feel this? This? Alright, a little bit. That's fine, we'll leave it a few more seconds. Okay, just prepare the tooth actually whilst you're sitting there. They always package these things up within an inch of its life. I don't know why they do that. For something so small. Right. Okay. Okay. So, here is your little baby tooth. Here it is. It's a perfect representation of the tooth there. Let me just hold it up. We've even matched the colour perfectly. That normally never happens. That's brilliant. Alright. So, can you feel that? Good. Alright. Let's go ahead and start mixing this stuff. So, are you ready for me to file this tooth down now? It's going to take a little while, but I think once we disturb the outer kind of, just take away what I fixed, it will start to just fall apart by itself, I think, and come away. So let me start my drill. Alright, are you ready? Here we go. Okay. Good. Good, you're doing so well. Yep, that little bit of tooth's just come off there. Just remove that. It's actually a lot more easier than what I anticipated it would be, which is good. Okay. You're doing so good. It's very unpleasant, I know, and such a newly made vampire as well to have your teeth, your brand new teeth, being filed away. There we are. Okay, nearly done, nearly done. You're doing so well. Just the last little bits here now. You're doing so good. And there we are. Good. Turn my drill. Yes, if you can just rinse out your mouth, and that will just rinse out all the dust and the fragments of tooth. Ready for a clean slate for me. Right. I'll go ahead and mix up the bonding agent. Okay, so this. Okay. So this. Okay. All right, how are you feeling? Good. Okay. Get your tooth. Your tooth. That's so sweet. Put the solution mix in here. Have to work fairly quickly because this stuff sets very, very hard, very quickly. Alright, so open up, say let's put that little tooth in for you there. Okay, good. Okay. Alright, good. Keep your mouth open. So this is just going to be holding that in place there. That's good. Okay. Good. Alright. Really well. Not too much longer now. Just got to make sure that it's in it properly. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to wait for it to dry just a little bit, and then I can file down the edges. Because at the moment it's a little bit rough, you probably feel it, yes. Okay. Yeah, you're doing so well. It's quite a horrible procedure, I must admit. And you're very brave. Let me have a look here. Alright, good. I think that's ready to file down. Let me start my drill. Okay. So I'm just going to be drilling down all the sharp edges. Good. Very good. Just smoothing those down. Just make it nice and flush. Good. I think that'll do it. Good. Excellent. Alright, yep, have a nice swig of water. Don't wash it too vigorously around your mouth because that might dislodge it. Just gently move the water around and that'll just get rid of it, that nasty sort of texture. Alright, good. Alright, a bit better. Let me have a look here. Alright, smile for me. Excellent. Perfect. Well, I think that was a great success. You look just perfect, like nothing ever happened. So again, no hot beverages, no hot blood for 24 hours, no biting, full stop. No vigorous brushing, just gargle with some salt water, and that should prevent any sort of nasty dirt getting into it. As you know, us vampires don't necessarily get any infections, so I don't need to prescribe you with any antibiotics or anything like that. Should it become dislodged, uncomfortable, God forbid any cracking or anything like that, then please do give me a call as soon as possible. Come in, I can fix that for you. So, thank you so much. I hope you are pleased with the results. I would suggest looking in a mirror, but alas, we don't have a reflection. Do you know someone who has one of those special cameras? I think they have one over at the Necroman Spa. I think Cecile has one. Well, next time you go in for a spray tan, she can take a picture of it for you and show you what it looks like. So, please don't bite anybody in the meantime, and I will see you at your next appointment, which is your hygienist appointment in 100 years' time. Well, do take care, and I look forward to receiving your next blood package as per our agreement. Alright, yes, take care and